can roll it, but
Yep.
this is the African American meeting house. This is where the so-called blacks, the Negroes, were recruited for the 54th Regiment. So, matter of fact, right here on the first floor, I don't know if you want to peer in the windows real quick, but right here on the first floor is where they had as a matter of fact, here on the first floor, and like when you go inside, so when you go inside, there's a church inside. So inside the church, so inside the church is where they were signing the paperwork for all the recruits of the 54th Regiment. Then you had this dude Frederick Douglass. I think two of his sons fought in the 54th Regiment. Two of his sons. So this is right here. This is the building they signed up at. So this building right here on this side, this is the first public school for so-called black people in the United States of America, the whole United States of America. First public school for Negroes. It was right here. But right now it's like a Frederick Douglass museum. They got pictures of Frederick Douglass, which they say at the time he was the most photographed I think Negro in American history, right? So they got all kinds of pictures of him in there, which Frederick Douglass today would be known as Uncle Tom, if you will, right? He had, I believe he had good intentions, right? He loved his people, but he rubbed and bumped elbows with Esau like he was one of them, you know what I mean? And he probably, I believe, looked down on niggas too, because that's, in that time, you got to think of all the psychological things that went on with Jake, where if I see I'm with the people that are in power, I got to be better than the people that ain't with them. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he had a little uppity in him too. But yeah, this is it right here. I don't know if you brothers got anything to say and mention about this, but this is right here where they recruited all those men in the 54th Regiment, man. Yep, right here in this building.
The sad thing about all this is you're not gonna find men like Nate Turner's name and things of that nature in some of these meeting houses here. You know, I mean, Nat Turner. Yeah. So you see here it says, Elder Red, this site possesses national significance in the commemorating the history of the United States of America. Okay, now we know the history of the United States of America and the things that it's done, Sharky, to the so-called Negroes, West Indian, Puerto Ricans, and we understand that Boston's dubbed the spirit of America. Okay, everything that the so-called black men has done, it wasn't done because they decided, we want to fight and build this place. It was done because first and foremost, they wanted to get their own peace. Okay, these devils won't give you no peace, but the only way you're going to get that peace if you have done something for them. Go to war, do all the dirty work, what have you, man. But these people that we speak of, the so-called white man and all these other nations, the Lord's gonna pay them a heavy price, man, just for what they've done to the children of Israel, primarily the so-called Negroes, which is the tribe of Judah, which is the line of Yahushua. Go ahead.
Proverbs 11:21, it so says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
Right. You hold it right there. Because, when you see these meeting houses, you hear about Frederick Douglass and who were some of those other characters?
Sojourner Truth.
Oh yeah,
Frederick Douglass. All these individuals, Thurgood Marshall, all these individuals, though hand join in hand, Esau's still going to get punished.
Yeah.
The Lord's still going to punish you. And don't be surprised when the Lord puts a spirit on Jake to come after you individuals. Now, I was watching the show concerning, the 54th Regiment Monument, and they were having this big, there was a anniversary day. And all you had was all Edomites. All Edomites up there. We're going to thank this guy, and we're going to thank this guy, and the next Edomite will come to the podium. You want to thank this, we want to thank this. You had one black, lonely woman who came up, who was pretty much, the announcer. Right now, we're gonna bring up so-and-so to the podium, and, but all this isn't about Jake, man. All this is about Esau and what he sees fit and how he wants this thing to be, taught throughout the world, man. Because black people have no significance in the playing of the upbringing of America. Though the so-called Negroes built America,
right,
they have no play and no part in the establishing of the foundation of this place, man.
And I think like to say that Jake built this country is an understatement.
Because when you look at all facets of life, right, music, and living, and all these different facets that we have in life, Jake was the leading the charge in all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
In this neighborhood that we're in, right, the Nigga Hill it was called at one time. This neighborhood that we're in is the epitome of gentrification, man. Because you look around these brownstones, and you can see the difference from down in here. Not here because they've renovated, of course, but you can see the difference if you're here in person. You can see the difference between how the neighborhood was here and how it is up on the hill, up higher on the hill, and then further east. You can see, man. You can see this, and now you look at it. Most of the people that live down here, the so-called white people. $1 million apartments, man, and we do deliveries down here. We know all the people that live down here. These are $1,000 apartments, not 1,000, not 2,000. Upwards in $3,000 to $5,000 apartments that these so-called white people are living in, where you had nothing but Negroes over here at one time. We call it Nigga Hill. This was the lowest of the low. This was the slums, if you will. This was the slums, and now you got they're $1 million homes. Matter of fact, they got an open house going on up here right now. We stepped inside, and the dude, the realtor or the broker, whatever you want to call it, said it was just under $5 million for just the first floor apartment in Nigga Hill.
And you could tell too, because you keep seeing the camera, right? This whole idea of living on top of each other and stacked up, but living so close together, that was for us. That wasn't for them. How they was their dream way of living. You know, they had a yard, a side yard, a backyard. They had property. They had land, a fence. You know, this was an experiment for us to stack us up on top of each other. And so even when you walk through here, all these houses are, when you'll see it when you go down there, but all these houses, that's touched in together. So the thing, how many niggas can we squeeze in this one little area?
And the north end is the same. Which was, when you have the north end, it was mostly the Italians, right? Which they're Jake too. You have mostly Italian, and they so when they came in, Jake got pushed out this way. So from the north end coming this way is where they got pushed into.
Right. That's where you get the term the projects, because that's exactly what it was, a project to see how these people can live together in one building with as many as people can possibly stuff in there. You know,
Like an experiment.
right? And Jake went around, from the projects. You know, you pretty much adopted that as, you know, a term of status, so to say. From the projects, a word, you know. But in all, most of these projects have names. And Jake was so foolish enough to take those names of these so-called white men who named these projects, had them tattooed, Marcy Project, you know, Bunker Hill Project, whatever the case may be, and you live by that. So what you essentially did was you tattooed your slave captor's name on your chest, indicating what? You still belong to these devils, man.
Not just that, how many people died behind those projects, you know? So-called fighting for your hood or your homeboys. Yeah, nothing.
I got a few precepts.
Yep.
Baruch 3 and 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity,
Yeah.
where thou hast scattered us
Yeah.
for a reproach and a curse,
Yeah.
and to be subject to payments,
Yep.
according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God.
When you walk down, I believe it's in this direction where you got Charles Street. When I was walking that way a couple weeks ago, and the demographic is pretty much still the same. Like how they have downtown set up, how they have, you know, Charles Street set up with all the little shops and bodega, not bodega, they don't call them bodegas, but the shops and boutiques. It's all the same demographic, where you got Esau in one place and Jake in another place, man. And what you realize is that our mishaps in this country weren't that long ago. They weren't that long ago. You got our people, they talk about slavery like it's ancient. But like it wasn't a long time ago.
The last living slave
Yep.
died in 1971. He was born in 1841 and died in 1971.
Imagine that, you see?
The last living slave.
Exactly. So we're not that far removed from the mistreatment of the people that we have on our side, the Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Puerto Rican. We're not that far removed from those times, man. All you got to do is go to one of these older cities, man, in your state, and walk around and check out. Because they all got like historical neighborhoods. Like down where we live, they got the Highlands, right? They just go walk around those neighborhoods, man, and it's still the same demographic.
Yeah, there's a story that come from here about Charles Street Church.
Mm-hmm.
The Charles Street Church was somewhere, I think,
Down this way,
down
yeah.
that street there.
Yep.
Now it is on Warren Street in Roxbury.
Yep. Yep.
Charles Street.
Now, you talk about from 1863, since Lincoln did what he did, 100 years from there, you're going into 1963.
Right.
And that's somebody that was alive during this era, that was 100 years old or 80 something years old, could have marched in the so-called civil rights movement. So he was fighting essentially the same fight ever since then. So it wasn't, like the elder said, it wasn't that long ago as they perceive it to be.
Yeah, and and you Jake, gotta wake up, man, because you think about America, your whole concept of America and the American dream, and be like, to me, right? Because you got, I've been upset. I'm trying to do a show on it. I'm gonna do a show on it. But there's a podcast I listen to, and they was getting into the scriptures and talking shit about the scriptures. I wanted to do a show on it, but I've been mad about it. So I was trying to wait. I didn't want to sound angry in the show. I wanted to wait till the emotions subsided. But I say that to say, you got Jake, and their whole mentality of making it or being a go-getter is staying here in America. But to me, being a go-getter and being about getting up out here is about attaching to the scriptures, attaching to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to get out of here. Because as it stands, being a part of this society, we're not going nowhere, man. If we don't depend on the only power that can get us out of here, we ain't going nowhere. Because your idea of money making and go getting is staying here. Staying in the place where you serve your slavery. Go ahead, bro.
This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10.
Yeah.
Arise thee and depart, for
Right.
this is not your
Right.
rest.
This ain't it for us, man. I'd rather be like what did Moses say? Choosing rather to suffer affliction than to live in pleasures of sin for a season, right? I'd much rather be a poor man in the kingdom of heaven than to be a rich man here in America, man.
That's right.
I'd much rather, because then I know in the kingdom to come, it's going to be righteous. It won't be like this, man. They left these things here for a reason. Really, you should knock them down. You should knock them down, but they left them here. This is for Jake to remember. Look what we had you doing, nigga.
We never came here.
Yeah.
Vacation.
Yeah.
We
Never.
talked about this.
Never.
I went to the Bunker Hill Monument though as a child, and growing up in Boston Public School.
Yeah.
With the Plymouth Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go here.
Yeah. So this one more thing I want to say, bro. We learned about this. I came down here one Saturday morning. Came here real early in the morning, and I paid my little $15 admission fee, and they showed you all of this shit. But why would this is like I said, this is a big part of American history. A huge part of American history, but you never would know about it unless you did the digging. Go ahead, bro.
And I was just gonna add, plus even if you do find about it, they're still pushing that whole Africanism on us.
Yeah.
African
Yeah.
meeting house.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. Fuck Africa.
That's right.
That's for you people who think you're African. Fuck Africa. Right? And then what did they do for you, them Africans? While you was going through this, they was over there in the jungles and climbing trees and eating coconuts. They didn't help you. That's right.
I got something real quick. Because it goes back to Jake thinking because they receive a bag here or doing whatever. Well, it's only one type of payback that's supposed to be deemed to us.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is number 35 and 33. It says, so ye shall not pollute the land where ye are. For blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
And don't think they weren't doing hangings and killings and murderings in the streets of Boston. It happened here too, man. It happened here too. Don't think it didn't happen. They got a street named Pinckney Street.
Yeah, well, we just passed it.
They just passed it right up here, right maybe 2 blocks up.
Picanega.
Pinckney Street, man. So don't think they wasn't hanging niggas and calling them niggas in that very 54th Regiment where you was signing up to fight for your country. Supposedly, they was calling you a nigga, man.
Boston is a racist city.
It's the most racist.
It's the most segregated city. It's more segregated than places in the South. And Jake get caught up in that liberalism. Boston is a liberal place, and the Kennedys and all that stuff.
Which it was comparable to the rest of the country, but it still was hell.
Right.
Right.
The point I was going to make.
Yeah,
to that
Salaki,
was-
bro.
No, you're
Salaki.
right. You're 100% right. The point I was going to make is, if this is so-called, a liberal place or a good place, this is hell for Jake. So it just goes to show you that, like the brother just read that scripture, nowhere in Babylon is our rest. And not even just in Babylon, throughout the whole world, because this devil is still in power. He has that dominion over the whole earth. So going into what the elder is saying, our people lack a ruling class mentality. A ruling class mentality is us wanting to rule and have dominion on our own. That doesn't involve any other nation. It doesn't involve nobody's currency, nobody helping us out, nobody helping us build the temple, the temple, whether it be spiritual or physically. Just us, Yasha Allah, as our heads, as our laws, our power, our holidays, just us alone. That's how we're gonna establish power, and that's how you can tell if somebody's full of shit, because if they so-called movement depends on something else, another power or a law or voting system or another currency, or that's how you know it's bullshit, man. A real man should want to be a leader, stand on his 2 feet, and guide his nation. That's starting with the elect, man.
That's right.
Hebrews 11, verse 23. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a prophet child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God.
See that? You said about faith. That's a faithful thing. Moses was semi the son of the Pharaoh, you know, so he had all those privileges amongst even Egyptians he was hiding, but he chose rather to suffer the affliction with his people rather than to have live this life of luxuriousness, if that's even a word.
Was he a go-getter by modern standards? You know, because these niggas they would have stayed in Egypt.
Right.
You know, I'm the son of Pharaoh.
Right.
I'm getting the perks and bonuses of being the grandson of Pharaoh. Why would I leave that?
And his brother was due for the throne. So you know how it is when you grow up with your bro. Like, yo, when I get the throne, you know, we're gonna be doing this, doing that. And they was doing it already. He was a son of Pharaoh. They had all the riches. You know, they were decked out, but he chose rather. And this is the mentality that the men of the Lord are gonna have. Fuck what I can get on his side. I'm gonna put the nation first, and it starts with this word, because everything is about this word. You know, and teaching the elect, this ministry. You know, that's the best thing you can do for your nation is. Do what the Heavenly Father told you to do. Teach this word.
It says, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasure of sin for a season.
So the guys, those sellouts, they had that option, that ultimatum was given to them, and they chose rather, you know, to sell themselves out. Not just themselves, but your nation. And you got these celebrities that sell out too, and they try to talk, you know, like for instance T.I., you know, he's the leader for black culture, you know what I'm saying? But he'll get on a record and talk this shoot 'em up, bang bang, how much drugs he sold, trap house, trap music and all this, fuck bitches and I fucked your wife and all that wickedness, but then get in real life and try to be the leader, but you already done sold out.
Walking contradiction.
Yeah, walking contradiction. So nobody's gonna believe it. And that's why Esau could look, what they could say, what about Chicago when you niggas march with Black Lives Matter, and it's legitimate because look at Chicago. Black people, so-called black people, kill themselves, you know, and there's no movement to get them going, get them out of that run.
That's right. All right, Matthew chapter 6 verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and its righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto
The
you.
kingdom is rulership. The Lord said that the kingdom of heaven dwelleth in you. You know, the kingdom of heaven is going to be just like Israel. It's going to be a people before it's a place. It's made up of men. You got to build yourself up first. You got to get your the scripture say establish your household first, because you got going into the whole Africa thing. You got Jake here talking about Africa. You know what's going on in Africa. Africa's a big ass continent, but Jake is still messed up here, you know? Right. So you got to get your own house in order first, you know, establish yourself, and then look to your neighbor, help your neighbor out, and then take it so forth onto the nation. So the kingdom, all those things, that rulership mentality is going to start with the Lord, and it's going to be passed down through his elect as he sees fit. Right. So it's best for us to seek those things, man. Seek what we control, what we can control, you know? And this word is something that we can control. You know, you have the ability to go on YouTube, upload a video, and edify your people, you know, or to go out on the highways and byways and scream this to the top of your lungs, you know?
That's right.
Go ahead.
That's it on that scripture.
Right. Close it up. It's about 2:30 now. We're gonna we'll get down there to camp and give Esau some more help, and you know, make it a night.
Yeah, Lord willing, we're gonna go down to another spot. We're gonna try to get all these monuments and all these murals that are out here in Boston that have significance to our people, the Israelites, and what price the Israelites had to pay, or what the Israelites have done to establish this place so Esau can live so lusciously here in America. So, all right, so with that, we want to say shalom.
Shalom.